Hello, welcome back to the Villa View for a match preview for Villa's game at home to Bristol City on New Year's Day. We might also talk about the fact that Villa won for the first time in 5 games.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about that game you just mentioned. We've won our first game of December. What did you make of it?
Well, I've only seen the highlights. Obviously, I didn't go to Middlesbrough today, but any win was required. I said on Twitter, whatever you think of the manager, whatever you think of the players, people behind the scenes, whatever, we just needed to win anyway we could tonight. It looks like we've dug out an ugly win, but sometimes they're required. I think we see the ugly wins more often than we'd like. Obviously, we all like winning, but we'd like to see a bit of style. But yeah, it's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to get one over Tony Pulis. We were all, I think, a lot of Villa fans, me included, were pretty fearful going into the game, so very, very pleasing to come away with 3 points.
Yeah, even though we hadn't won in December, I'd have been relatively happy with a point away at Borough, but obviously to nick it with the Snodgrass goal near the end is just what you need, isn't it? To get, when the games come thick and fast, you've got to win at all costs. Yeah,
I mean, it was a pretty similar goal to the goal at Brentford from Onima, really, just across from the opposite side. I think, like you say, any win's a good win at any stage of the season, but when you're on a terrible run and you've got like games in close proximity, you've just got to dig it out. We've obviously had injuries, players missing, players rested, players ill, so there's all sorts going on. But any team we put out should give most teams a game in this league, and it's been proved today with a win.
Yeah, I think that's an important point you touched on there, is that whatever injuries we've got, illness, whatever it might be, there still should be enough depth in the team to get the results against most sides in the league. Slightly worrying that Davis has been ill twice in about 2 weeks, and Whelan's ill as well. I don't know what this mystery illness is at Bodymoor Heath, but we changed the team anyway through those illnesses, and we've done all right anyway. So maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah,
I mean, I can relate to Davis's flu pandemic that he keeps getting, because obviously I've had a few bouts of illness myself.
You never mentioned it.
No, I don't like to talk about it that much. If I'm being honest, I don't want any sympathy. But the illness is enforced a change. And Steve Bruce said after the game that he wasn't going to play Elphick, which I find absolutely farcical. Because if he'd have played Jedinak at the back again, we'd have been in all kinds of trouble. Because he's not looked comfortable there, and that would have been a bad decision. So he's got a bit lucky. I'm surprised he's admitted it. If I'm being honest, I'm sure we're going to come on to his post match. I found the whole thing a bit strange. If I'm being honest, I don't know what you thought about it.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Different people were posting it out, and I was sort of scrolling through it and almost wincing a little bit, like, I didn't quite like that. There seems to be a bit of a mentality of it's when we finally win, it's a bit like us v them sort of thing, and it's sort of like, oh, we told you we'd turn it around. Look, it's like, well, yeah, we still only won one game all month. Like, there's still, let's not get carried away. It's all about what we could go on to do after this win now, rather than just saying like, oh well, forget the last 3 or 4 games, we've won now. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a bad month, and it was alarming. It was alarming enough for Keith Widers and Dr. Tony to make comments on Twitter. So I don't think Bruce can hide from that. I actually get what he is trying to say. I do understand where he's coming from. I just think he's wording it terribly and in a way that's going to get fans' backs up. I mean, the fact is, if we win this game against Bristol, I think we're only 3 points off them, and everyone's been talking about how well they've done it and that they're genuine contenders for automatic. So suddenly, if we win, I mean, me and you spoke off camera, we're closer to the autos than we've ever been, despite having that terrible month. And that's the frustrating thing. Even if we'd have had an average December, we'd be really right up there now, and it is frustrating.
Part of me wants to think, oh well, it's a good thing that we've still managed to keep up with other teams around us by having a bad month. But it's at the back of your mind that you just think, what if we'd won this game? What if we'd drawn this game? You'd be right up there now. So like I say, it's about what we do after this Middlesbrough game now, rather than just looking at this one isolated win and going, yeah, that's a good result. It's about building on that now.
I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but come the end of the season, if you end up third and you're only a few points off second, you will look back at these missed opportunities. And
yeah.
I still think we'll get playoffs. I think we'll be there, but I'd much rather go up automatically. But Wolves have done us a favour today, winning late on. Hopefully that's got Bristol City's confidence has been given a knock by that late victory for Wolves, so it could be a good time to face them off the back of a defeat, and we've obviously won.
And Birmingham and Bolton as well, both doing us favours, beating Sheffield United and Leeds. So pretty good day for us all round, really.
Yeah, it's been a good day. results-wise. You can't always rely on other teams to do you favours, but the Championship is absolutely mental.
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, but everyone does beat everyone, and there's every chance, like I say, Bristol City could go on a run like we've had in December, in January now. Like, these runs do happen, which is why I do understand what Steve Bruce is trying to say. I know people don't like him and their minds are made up, but I get what he's saying. He's wording it absolutely terribly.
So you just can't call what's going to happen, and that's why you can't really get too down when you're on a bad run, because if we go, let's say we hypothetically, like you keep saying, we go and win the next 3 in a row now, we could be top 2 by then, and then all this December of misery is a bit like, oh well, we've turned it round now. But it could go the other way and you keep losing. The Middlesbrough game was a blip. Like, you just can't call it either way. You've just got to take each game as it comes.
We've had so much misery over the last few years that the instant thing as a Villa fan to do is to be negative when things aren't going to plan. It's natural, and I think Bruce has made mistakes over the last month. I think he's got stuff wrong. I think he personally has had a bad month, but this is why I've taken a lot of stick on Twitter, as I said in the podcast. But like you say, I try not to be too up with the wins and not to be too down with the defeats, and just see what happens. I mean, I got a lot of stick the other day when we lost on Boxing Day. I didn't get any praise today when we won, which was disappointing. I was looking for to get some praise for my motivational talks.
So we'll move on to Bristol now. Tomorrow's opponents, they've lost to Wolves on Saturday, last minute goal. It's one of those things where you think could knock the stuffing out of them, but it could be one of those things where they look back on it and go, right, well, forget the Wolves game, let's go and smash Villa now. Which one of those do you think it'll be?
They'll be up for it, because every team that comes to Villa Park is up for it. I remember us dispatching them last season, but they're a different kettle of fish. Now they're right up there, and they've been doing very, very well, and they beat a strong Man U side a few weeks ago. I mean, I haven't got a clue who their reserve keeper is, but obviously their main keeper's suspended, so you'd think that will give us some kind of advantage. Now, the fact they've conceded late, we've seen with Villa the effect that can have on confidence going into the next run of games, so hopefully they'll be down about that. But they've got some really good players. Obviously, we've got Nathan Baker coming back to Villa Park. I suspect he'll be up for it, as he normally is. To be fair, his game hasn't really changed, does it? He's pretty steady. They've got Patterson on the wing, who I've always thought is a pretty decent player. I've always had an affection for him since my football manager days for some reason, so I've always kept an eye on him because he did well for me in football manager once. I sound like Tom Julian here, but I've always thought he was a good player whenever I've watched him, and he scored against us earlier on in the season. I'm not sure what the John Terry situation is. I keep predicting that he's going to play and he keeps not playing, so if I keep predicting it, at some point I'm going to be correct. So maybe he'll be back for this game, although I hear that Tommy Elphick had a very good game against Middlesbrough, and he's done well, to be fair. He did well against Brentford, I thought, as well. He doesn't look quite as rash as he did last season.
How much do you know about Lee Johnson and his tactics?
He's done a very, very good job at Bristol. They've got quite a good model, the club there. They've invested in the ground and invested in the infrastructure, got a young, hungry, ambitious manager, and they've got an interesting transfer policy there as well. I don't know his name, but they signed the striker for £6 million in the summer, so they're trying to unearth players like they did with Codger. Obviously, we took Codger off them. They're good. They're a good club, and they're having a good season. And he's a good manager. I think he'll be there for a while as well. It seems like there's a bit of a plan there, a bit of a long-term vision, and I think he looks happy there and he likes it there. So it'll be a tough game, obviously. So
the Villa team, then I think Bruce will probably want to make changes with playing 2 games in quick succession, but it's whether he can make the changes. Do you think there's any options for him to change it about?
The obvious one is Grealish for Onuma. Obviously, Onuma's gone off injured. Grealish has come on, and I've heard good reports that he made an impact. For me, Grealish should be starting at the moment, but I understand the fact that he's had an injury problem. We've got a lot of games he may have actually been rested on the bench himself. Against Middlesbrough, Hepburn Murphy came on and was lively as well, apparently, but I'd expect just the one change, Grealish for Onuma. I think if you've won the game, it's difficult to change. You want to keep that momentum. I don't think he likes chucking young players in from the start if he can help it. So I think he'll be looking to Hepburn Murphy and maybe O'Hare to make an impact from the bench at some point. But yeah, I think just that one change, Grealish for Onuma.
I think Bruce said that the players that missed out today aren't going to feature, so that's Davis and Whelan again won't play. So the only other option you've got in front is Hogan, who started, or Hepburn Murphy. Is there a case that he can come in and start the game?
I wouldn't have thought so, and I wouldn't read too much into that, because we've seen some of the style of football when Hogan's on the pitch, it's not like we're giving him decent service. He's having to chase a lot of lost causes and behave like he's a 6'7" striker at stages of the game. The only thing I say about the touches thing is obviously Middlesbrough have gone 1-0 down when Hepburn Murphy's on the pitch, so there's obviously they're going to be coming forward more. There's going to be more space on the counter attack, so potentially that's why Hepburn Murphy was more involved than Hogan. Obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I wouldn't read too much into that if I'm being honest. But it's good to see Hepburn Murphy fit again. It's good to see him coming on and making a contribution. That can only be good for the future. Hogan needs a run of games started. If we're going to get anything out of him, he needs that consistent run of form. He needs to just be told, here's 5 or 6 games, see what you can do. Obviously he's not scored today. I thought he was lively in the first half against Brentford. He scored, but he was offside. I mean, we could do some easier games if I'm being honest. Obviously Bristol City's not an ideal game, even though they've lost, because they're a good strong defensive team. They've got good centre backs in Baker and Flint, who don't really take any prisoners. So I'm just dying to see Hogan do well. I'm dying to see him score, because as I've said many a time, I think there's a good player there.
Say if Terry is available, does he come straight back in, or do you keep the back four the same?
I think had we lost, you're definitely looking to get him in as soon as possible. But the fact that we've won the game and kept a clean sheet, I'd say the need becomes less. I'd be loath to break up a back four that's kept a clean sheet, if I'm being honest, and I think Steve Bruce would be the same. I've seen a few people say give him the FA Cup game as a run out, but it's a meaningless game, and if he gets injured again, then we're in big trouble if he's out for a month or so, 2 months. So maybe the next league game after the new year, after the FA Cup, will be when we see him back. But I've got it wrong every time so far, so we'll probably see him start. Well, there, I got the rabbit chewing my microphone.
Good stuff.
What are you doing? Oh, he has actually chewed it apart.
Really?
Yeah. Chester.
Little technical problem, Dan. Explain what's happened.
Last time we did a preview at home, I had problems with the girl rabbit Esme. I've now had problems with the boy rabbit Chester, who has chewed my microphone, and the wire is now broken. So thanks for that. So
apologies for Dan's terrible camera audio for the next piece. We'll keep it short. What's your prediction?
I'll shout.
Okay.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Villa. Now we've won a game, I'm hoping that we're going to go on a big run and win a few games. So I'm going to go to 2-1 to Villa, and I'm going to go first goal, Adoma. I'm
going to go for a bit of a left field shout, just to try and isolate myself from the rest of the pack for the Fan Score League, and hopefully if it does come off, I'll be the only one getting points. I'm going to go 3-3.
3-3?
Entertaining New Year's game, plenty of goals.
I mean, you've already isolated yourself at the bottom, so...
I'll just stay down there, I'm usually wrong.
Right, so I'm going to shout for this outro. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this preview of the Bristol City game, although to be fair, it turned into more of a review post Middlesbrough, if we're being honest, but there's too many games at the moment and we're trying to squeeze as much into the videos as we can. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure you're hitting the big thumbs up button and giving the video a like, and comment below with your predictions for Villa's game against Bristol City and what you thought of the Middlesbrough result as well. If you're not already subscribing to the channel, then make sure you're doing that with your post notifications on. That really does help the channel grow, and we'd like to hit 10k as soon as possible. So tell all your family and friends, let's all subscribe to the Villa View as a New Year's resolution. Thanks ever so much for watching. Either me or Max will be doing fan cams. It's not been discussed yet, but one of us will for sure. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa, up the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.